At some point in life, we all feel it, a subtle, insistent call to change. Sometimes it comes through a personal crisis, a moment of doubt, or an inexplicable sense that something is missing. It's not always loud, and it rarely offers clear instructions. Yet it tugs at us, pulling us towards something greater, something unknown. This call to transformation is universal. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. It's part of being human. And while it can feel overwhelming or even unsettling, it carries with it a powerful promise, the potential for growth, renewal, and discovery. The ancient practice of alchemy serves as a profound metaphor for this process. At first glance, alchemy seems to belong to another world, one filled with arcane symbols, mysterious laboratories, and cryptic texts. But when we look deeper, we see that the true essence of alchemy isn't about turning lead into gold. It's about the transformation of the self. Carl Jung recognized this connection, understanding alchemy not as a primitive science, but as a rich psychological and spiritual journey. He saw in its symbols and processes a mirror of the human experience, our struggles, our breakthroughs, and our endless quest for meaning. This is the beginning of our journey together, to explore the ancient wisdom of alchemy and how it speaks to the challenges and opportunities of modern life. It's not about learning to manipulate chemicals or decode ancient texts. It's about understanding the transformation we're all capable of and finding the courage to step into the unknown. Because transformation isn't just an idea or a concept, it's a call. And the question is, will you answer it? When we think of alchemy, the image that often comes to mind is that of medieval scientists in dimly lit laboratories, obsessively trying to turn lead into gold. But alchemy is far more than this narrow portrayal. Beneath its surface lies a profound philosophy, a way of understanding life, and a guide for personal transformation. Alchemy, at its core, is a symbolic language, a bridge between the tangible and the intangible, the physical and the spiritual. While it uses the imagery of metals, furnaces, and transformations, these were metaphors for something much deeper, the inner workings of the human soul. The gold sought by alchemists was not just a precious metal, but a representation of perfection, enlightenment, and self-realization. The process of alchemy mirrors life itself. Just as base metals undergo refinement through heat and pressure, so do we. Life challenges us, tests us, and pushes us toward growth. The stages described by the alchemists, breaking down, purifying, and achieving harmony, are reflections of our own experiences, from moments of despair to breakthroughs and self-discovery. Carl Jung saw alchemy as more than an ancient science. To him, it was a psychological journey, one that captured the essence of human transformation. The stone, or elixir, sought by the alchemists was a symbol of integration, the unification of our conscious and unconscious selves, the reconciliation of our opposites. What makes alchemy so fascinating is its universality. It isn't bound by time or culture. Its symbols and processes resonate with anyone who has ever faced adversity, sought purpose, or longed for growth. It reminds us that transformation is not about escaping challenges, but about embracing and working through them. So, what is alchemy? It's the art of turning the ordinary into the extraordinary, the struggle into the lesson, and the self into something whole. And in this way, the practice of ancient alchemists continues to guide us, not with formulas, but with timeless wisdom for the journey of life. Symbols are everywhere. They shape how we think, feel, and navigate the world, often without us even realizing it. In alchemy, symbols take on a central role, not as mere decorations, but as a profound language that speaks to the deepest parts of who we are. Alchemy is filled with images that seem mysterious and cryptic, serpents devouring their own tails, the sun and moon merging, a phoenix rising from ashes. At first glance, these images might seem like riddles meant to confuse, but they are, in fact, keys. Keys to understanding transformation, both in the physical and psychological sense. Carl Jung believed that these symbols weren't random. He saw them as expressions of the unconscious mind, a bridge between what we know consciously and the deeper truths hidden within us. They represent archetypes, universal patterns and themes that emerge in myths, dreams, and stories across all cultures. Take, for example, the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail. This ancient image represents the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. In alchemy, it symbolizes the eternal process of transformation, where endings become beginnings. On a personal level, it reminds us that growth often requires letting go of the old to make way for the new. Another powerful symbol is the philosopher's stone. While often seen as a magical object, it's a metaphor for achieving wholeness. It represents the alchemist's ultimate goal, not just to create gold, but to unite opposites, the physical and spiritual, the conscious and unconscious, into a harmonious whole. Dreams are another way this symbolic language appears in our lives. Have you ever woken up from a dream that felt meaningful, even if it didn't make logical sense? Jung argued that dreams, much like alchemical symbols, are messages from the unconscious. They use images and metaphors to guide us through our personal transformations. The beauty of symbols is that they don't tell us what to think. They invite us to explore. They engage our imagination, prompting questions and reflections that words alone cannot achieve. This is why the alchemists relied on symbols. They knew that true understanding comes not from explanations, but from experience and intuition. When we learn to see life through the lens of symbols, the world takes on a new depth. Challenges become opportunities. Patterns emerge where we once saw chaos, and we start to uncover meaning in places we'd overlooked. Alchemy's symbols may seem ancient, but their message is timeless. Transformation isn't just a process. It's a dialogue between the seen and the unseen, a journey guided by the language of the soul. Alchemy isn't just about turning lead into gold. At its heart, it's a process of transformation, and this journey unfolds in 3 distinct stages. These stages, Nigredo, Albedo, and Rubedo, are as much about the human experience as they are about the laboratory experiments of ancient alchemists. The first stage, Nigredo, is often the most challenging. It's the dark night of the soul, the moment when everything seems to fall apart. In alchemical terms, it represents decomposition, breaking down the old to create space for the new. In life, this is the time of loss, confusion, or crisis. It's uncomfortable, even painful, but it's also necessary. Just as a seed must break apart to grow, we must confront and let go of what no longer serves us to move forward. Next comes Albedo, the whitening. This stage represents purification, a time when clarity begins to emerge from the chaos. It's the moment when we start to see the pieces of our lives coming together, even if they're not yet fully formed. Symbolically, it's about washing away impurities, the false beliefs, fears, and doubts that cloud our vision. In this phase, we experience glimpses of hope and understanding. It's a reminder that light always follows darkness, even if it's faint at first. The final stage is Rubedo, the reddening. This is where transformation reaches its peak, where the fragmented pieces of the self come together into a unified whole. In alchemical symbolism, this is the creation of the philosopher's stone, the ultimate goal of the process. In life, it's the moment of integration, when we align with our purpose and feel a sense of completeness. It's not about perfection, but about wholeness, embracing who we are with all our contradictions and complexities. What's fascinating about these stages is that they aren't linear. Life doesn't neatly move from Nigredo to Albedo to Rubedo. We cycle through them repeatedly, sometimes experiencing all three in a single challenge. Each stage prepares us for the next, deepening our understanding and resilience. These stages also mirror universal themes found in myths and stories across cultures. The hero's journey, for example, often begins with a fall or crisis, Nigredo, followed by a period of discovery and learning, Albedo, and concludes with the hero returning, transformed, Rubedo. These patterns resonate because they reflect the natural rhythm of transformation in our own lives. The alchemist's insight was that transformation is not just external, but deeply internal. By embracing the process, the darkness, the clarity, and the unification, we can find meaning and growth in even the most difficult experiences. Ultimately, the three stages of alchemy remind us that transformation is possible for everyone. No matter where you are in your journey, whether you feel lost in the Nigredo, are glimpsing hope in the Albedo, or are embracing the unity of Rubedo, each step is a necessary part of becoming who you are meant to be. Alchemy may seem like a relic of the past, but its true essence reaches far beyond ancient laboratories. Carl Jung saw in alchemy a profound connection to the human psyche, particularly through the concept of the collective unconscious, a reservoir of shared symbols, archetypes, and experiences that all humans carry within them. The collective unconscious is not something we learn or acquire. It's inherited, a kind of psychological blueprint shared across cultures and generations. It's why similar myths, symbols, and stories appear in vastly different societies. Alchemy, with its rich tapestry of images and processes, taps directly into this universal wellspring. Take, for instance, the alchemical idea of transformation. The stages of Nigredo, Albedo, and Rubedo aren't just abstract concepts. They're archetypal patterns that resonate with everyone. We all experience moments of darkness, clarity, and integration in our lives, whether we realize it or not. These stages mirror the cycles of death and rebirth found in myths and religions worldwide, from the death of Osiris in Egyptian mythology to the resurrection of Christ in Christianity. Alchemy's symbols, the Ouroboros, the philosopher's stone, the union of opposites, speak a universal language. These images reflect inner truths about our struggles, desires, and potential. For example, the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail, represents the eternal cycle of destruction and creation. It's a reminder that endings are also beginnings, a concept that resonates deeply in the human experience. Jung believed that alchemy was, in essence, a symbolic map of the psyche. The processes described by the alchemists mirrored the inner work of integrating the conscious and unconscious mind. The gold they sought wasn't literal but psychological, the achievement of individuation, where a person becomes whole by embracing all aspects of themselves, including their shadows. This connection to the collective unconscious also explains why alchemy continues to captivate us. Its symbols and metaphors evoke something timeless, stirring parts of ourselves that words alone cannot reach. They remind us that our personal struggles are part of a larger human experience, connecting us to something greater than ourselves. In the modern world, we often view challenges and emotions as individual burdens, something to fix or overcome alone. Alchemy and its link to the collective unconscious teach us a different perspective. They show us that these struggles are part of a shared journey, one that every human being is navigating in their own way. By exploring the alchemical connection to the collective unconscious, we gain not only insight into our inner worlds, but also a sense of belonging. We see that our personal transformations are not isolated events, but echoes of a universal process. And through this understanding, we find a deeper connection to ourselves and to humanity as a whole. In a world dominated by technology and science, the idea of alchemy might seem outdated or irrelevant. But beneath the medieval symbols and cryptic texts lies a timeless wisdom that speaks directly to the challenges of modern life. Alchemy isn't about turning lead into gold. It's about transformation, growth, and discovering meaning in a world that often feels chaotic. Think about the pressures we face today, the relentless pace of life, the expectation to succeed, and the constant noise of social media and modern culture. These forces can leave us feeling fragmented, disconnected from ourselves and others. Alchemy offers a counterbalance, a reminder that transformation is not just external, but deeply internal. At its core, alchemy is about integration. It teaches us that the challenges we face aren't obstacles to avoid, but opportunities to grow. The darkness of Nigredo, the clarity of Albedo, and the unity of Rubedo mirror the stages of overcoming adversity and finding purpose. These ancient stages remind us that transformation is a process, not an instant fix. Alchemy also encourages us to look inward. In a time when success is often measured by external achievements, it invites us to explore the gold within. What are our true values? What brings us meaning? It's not about accumulating wealth or status, but about becoming whole, aligning our inner and outer worlds. Carl Jung saw alchemy as a map for the human psyche, a guide to navigating the unconscious mind. Today, his insights are more relevant than ever. With rising levels of stress, anxiety, and disconnection, alchemy provides a framework for self-discovery and healing. It encourages us to confront our shadows, the parts of ourselves we often ignore, and integrate them into a fuller sense of self. The symbols of alchemy are also surprisingly modern. The Ouroboros, for example, symbolizes cycles of renewal and interconnectedness, concepts echoed in environmental movements and discussions about sustainability. The Philosopher's Stone, a symbol of ultimate transformation, reminds us of the human capacity for resilience and reinvention. Perhaps most importantly, alchemy matters because it invites us to see life differently. Instead of viewing our struggles as meaningless or random, we can see them as part of a larger process. Alchemy reminds us that the path to transformation is messy and nonlinear, but it's also deeply rewarding. In a fast-paced, results-driven world, alchemy calls us to slow down, reflect, and engage with the journey itself. It teaches us that the real gold isn't found in external achievements, but in the process of becoming who we are meant to be. And in that sense, Alchemy is not just a relic of the past. It's a vital tool for living fully in the present. Imagine this. Your life as it stands now is raw material, unrefined and filled with potential. The challenges, dreams, fears, and aspirations you carry are all part of a larger process, a personal alchemy waiting to unfold. The question is, are you ready to embrace it? The alchemists of old weren't just experimenting with metals. They were teaching us something profound. Transformation isn't something that happens to us. It's something we actively participate in. Every choice you make, every challenge you face, every moment of stillness is a chance to engage with this process. Your journey doesn't require a furnace or a laboratory. It begins wherever you are. It starts with curiosity, with the willingness to look inward and ask the hard questions. What do I need to let go of? What am I afraid to confront? What part of me is waiting to shine? This isn't about perfection. It's about wholeness. The alchemists understood that transformation involves embracing contradictions, the light and the dark, the successes and the failures, the joy and the pain. It's about weaving these parts together into something uniquely your own. And here's the truth. The journey will challenge you. There will be moments of doubt, times when you'll want to give up. But those are the moments that matter most. That's where the real transformation happens. It's not in avoiding the fire, but in stepping into it, knowing that it's shaping you into something stronger, wiser, and more aligned with who you are meant to be. Your alchemical journey is yours alone. No one can walk it for you, and no one else can define what your gold looks like. It might be finding balance in your life, pursuing a passion you've set aside, or simply learning to embrace yourself as you are. The path isn't always clear, but it's always worth it. And every step you take brings you closer to uncovering the treasure that's been within you all along. So, what will you do with this moment? Will you take that first step into the unknown? The journey awaits, and it's yours to claim. As we come to the end of this exploration, there's one truth that alchemy teaches us. The gold we search for has always been within. The transformation we seek, the answers we long for, and the sense of wholeness we crave aren't found in the external world. They emerge from within ourselves through the process of discovery, struggle, and growth. Life, much like the alchemical process, is not a straight path. It's filled with moments of darkness, clarity, and integration. But every challenge, every failure, and every triumph is part of a greater work, a masterpiece in the making. The alchemists used symbols like the philosopher's stone and the Ouroboros, not to point us outward, but to remind us of what lies within. These symbols are a mirror, reflecting back the potential that exists in each of us. They teach us that transformation is not about changing who we are, but about becoming who we were always meant to be. So, as you step away from this moment, remember, the gold is not something you need to find. It's something you reveal. It's in the choices you make, the courage you show, and the way you embrace the journey, even when it feels uncertain. The process is never easy, but it's always worth it. Because in the end, the treasure isn't just the destination. It's the person you become along the way. The gold is within you, and it always has been. If this journey through the wisdom of alchemy has sparked something within you, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of seekers and explorers. Leave a comment below. What's one part of your life you're ready to transform? And don't forget to like and share this video with someone who might need a little reminder that the gold is already within them. Let's keep the conversation and the transformation alive.